make significant investment in education, including over 3 billion allocated for tertiary education financing in the 2025-2026 financial year. This reflects our belief in the power of education to transform lives, empower industries, and shape the destiny of our nation. Education, therefore, should be seen as a moral and social responsibility to uphold human dignity and drive our nation's progress. This year's graduation theme, Empowering Futures, Advancing Human Dignity in the Digital Era, reminds us that education is more than just the pursuit of knowledge. That in the digital era, knowledge illuminates the path, while courage and creativity determine the journey. The digital era is your stage, Bongwanaka. Use it not just to consume, but to create. Not just to follow, but to lead. Let your innovations carry the signature of Botswana's intelligence, the grace of our dignity, and the boundless of our national ambition. As we advance into the digital era, we must remember that true empowerment always upholds human dignity and protects human rights. The digital space, while opening immense opportunities for innovation, education, and business, also presents new risks from privacy violations and misinformation on online exploitation and inequality. It is therefore essential that our embrace of technology must be guided by ethical responsibility. The digital revolution must never undermine the values of respect, fairness, and justice. Today, our country faces the greatest test. Our economy is under strain as the revenues from our minerals, especially diamonds, continue to decline, challenging the very path of our development. The mineral economy that once built our schools, hospitals, and infrastructure is no longer sufficient to secure our future. We are challenged to imagine new ways of producing, creating, and thriving. But let us remember, the story of Botswana has never been one of despair. It has always been a story of resilience and renewed faith. Time and again, we have faced trials that could have broken us. Yet we rose stronger, wiser, and more united. So even as we are tested today, let it be known that our future is not doomed. We are far from it. Our future is awaiting to be reimagined. It is waiting to be rebuilt and renewed by you, the next generation of Botswana. The real wealth of Botswana lies not beneath the ground, but within its people. With you, our graduates. You are the generation to take us from dependence to self-reliance, from consumption to innovation, from hope to action. It is not our natural resources alone that will sustain us, but the talent, innovation, and resilience of our citizens. I firmly believe that our human capital is our new diamonds. The world is shifting. Artificial intelligence, robotics, climate change, the green economy, and digital transformation are not far off ideas. They are your battlefield. Position yourself, Bongwanaka, not just to take jobs, but to create them. Entrepreneurship must be explored. Start something the world has never seen. Let your excellence be unstoppable. Go out there and break boundaries no one else dared to cross. Design the next frontier of energy, frontier of health, technology, and trade. Teach, lead, innovate, and when you return, bring back the best the world has to offer for your country. That said, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to extend my heartfelt and profound congratulations to the class of 2025. Congratulations, Bongwanaka. And as you step into the next phase of your journey, I sincerely hope that You find both purpose and fulfillment in all that lies ahead. This is a momentous event for every graduate who has persevered through hard work, uncertainty, and challenges, yet has remained steadfast in their academic journey. But let me warn you, Bongwanaka, it is not easy out there. It is not easy. The outside world is not a bed of roses, nor a walk in the park. It is fierce and very competitive. I trust you have learned that success does not come easily. It requires continued effort, dedication, and going the extra mile to achieve your dreams. You are the builders of your future. The future you seek begins here today. The path that lies ahead of you is long, but it is a path rich with opportunity, growth, and fulfillment. Yes, the journey is challenging, but it is in overcoming these challenges that you'll find the true essence of success. It will be your perseverance, your resilience, and your ability to adapt that will define your destiny. Let me share with you a word of wisdom that I've shared elsewhere. The skills you have gained will open doors, but it is the character you build that will keep those doors open. In the world that constantly changes, the strength of your character, your integrity, your work ethic, your ability to rise above adversity will be your most valuable asset. As I conclude, allow me to take this opportunity to extend special recognition to the educators and the mentors. We owe you profound debt of gratitude. Your guidance, your insight, and unwavering support that you have played, it has played a pivotal role in shaping our graduates' path and igniting their aspirations. To the beloved family members and friends, I extend my heartfelt thanks for being the pillar of strength, encouragement, and support. Your unwavering beliefs in these kids has served them as the greatest motivation. Once again, I congratulate our graduate here today. Let us continue to work towards a brighter future, guided by the values of Botho, unity, peace, prosperity that define us as Botswana. The world is waiting for your voice, Bongwanaka. Botswana is waiting for your impact. Forget. You are the generation that must take us from dependence to self-reliance, from consumption to creation, from hope to action. Do not fear the future. Build it. Do not question whether you are ready. You are the reason Botswana will rise. As Nelson Mandela once said, it always seems impossible until it is done. Good luck, Bongwanaka, in your future endeavors, and congratulations once more. God bless you. God bless our country. Thank you for your attention.
Dr. Joseph Tsonope, Chancellor of Baisego University, is a distinguished scholar, linguist, and academic leader whose career spans over 3 decades of teaching, research, and institutional transformation. His extensive contributions to education, to corporate governance, and cultural preservation have profoundly shaped Botswana's academic, intellectual, and governance landscape. Dr. Tsonope holds a PhD in linguistics from the State University of New York at Buffalo, an MA in applied linguistics from Concordia University in Montreal. He holds a BA with a concurrent certificate of education from the University of Botswana. He also has several professional training credentials in the areas of corporate governance and compliance. Throughout his illustrious career, Dr. Tsonope has held several key leadership positions. He has served for 5 years on the University of Botswana Governing Council and another 5 years as Dean, and he oversaw during that time over 120 academic and support staff. In addition, he chaired the Botswana Examinations Council. During her service there, he was able to transform Botswana Examination Council from being a merely government department to a fully fledged corporate entity. With more than 30 years of experience in scientific research, in teaching, and postgraduate student supervision at various universities around the world, including Boston University in the US, the University of Beirut in Germany, the University of Zimbabwe, and the Austrian University, Dr. Tsonope has made substantial contributions to the field of linguistics. His pioneering doctoral research on children's acquisition of the Setswana language and his extensive studies in Botswana's indigenous languages has significantly advanced local linguistic scholarship. A prolific researcher and author with over 20 published books and peer-reviewed articles, which are with many citations, over 400 citations in different indexes around the world. He's currently working on a project to develop Mandarin, Setswana, and English language dictionary. He's also working on large language models of BW languages along the lines of ChatGTP, DeepSeek, artificial intelligence, and many other transformers. He has also started his work in animating Setswana folklores. Beyond academia, Dr. Tsonope continues to contribute to the national development and heritage initiatives. He chairs a trust whose predecessor funded the construction of Block 476, which is student residence here at the University of Botswana, together with staff houses to the tune of more than 5 million pula. The trust also funded a study on Botswana's marriage practices with amount exceeding 2.5 million pula. He has also completed a draft Setswana translation of the Botswana National Constitution. This really demonstrates his dedication to preserving and promoting Botswana's linguistic and cultural heritage. He is also a horticultural farmer, a real estate developer, and you may not know, he's also a pro guitarist. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. With that illustrious introduction, I bet you must have thought I would come here on a wheelchair. It almost sounded like I'm 90-something years old. Another disclaimer, Professor Norris, I don't know why you labeled me a renowned educationist. I am not aware of my renown, but maybe it's just an occasion's jest or a threat of an honorary degree conferment, to which I will oblige. The theme for this year's convocation is Empowering Futures, Advancing Human Dignity in the Digital Era. Director of Ceremonies, my partner, sister, Chancellor Maseretse, Chairperson of the UB Council and Council members, UB Vice Chancellor, members of Parliament here present, allow me in the interest of time to simply say all protocol observed. Vice Chancellor, I take your invitation for me to officiate at the 43rd graduation ceremony as a pinnacle of honor, indeed an asymptote of grandeur. And as a former student of this university, I am really elated. I would be remiss not to mention that I'm also pleased to share the podium with my fellow Mueddin Tigress, whom I've already mentioned, Presiding Chancellor Seretse. Honorable Minister here present, and in particular, Minister Maele, with whom I have a bone or two to chew after this event. About tertiary policy and the curriculum. The UB Council Chairman, my former skullduggery partner, come conspirator at the Botswana Examinations Council, and indeed yourself, friend or foe, Prof. Norris, partner and collaborator, alongside all other dignitaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Bongwana Kabalo Alukhang, and as we dedicate the 43rd celebration to graduates, let us not forget parents and relatives. I greet you all with the utmost humility, but in a celebratory mood. It's like I had to fish for that, eh? Director of Ceremonies, what a mixed crowd we have today. UB should take pride in the fact that among its former students who have distinguished themselves admirably and flown the UB flag high in all manner of illustrious ways, locally and globally, two of its former students, and my E201, to mention the course, E201 students back in 1982 went on to establish a sister university called Baisaho, of which you've already been informed I'm Chancellor. I do not mention this out of vainglory or self-aggrandizement, but as an example of how UB graduates could unleash their capacity to further enrich the future of BW, such as I will exemplify in different areas, especially in the area of mining, which I'll mention later. But before we get into how we can venture into the theme of empowering futures in order to advance human dignity in the digital era, allow me to make a few cautionary statements, some of which may sound uncomfortable. They need serious interrogation, some of which we need to dispel so as to disabuse ourselves from certain subliminal assumptions that we carry in our heads as the right thing to do, but without questioning why we think it is right. Director of Ceremonies, technological developments are accelerating, and they create a digital society with literally unprecedented opportunities, as well as unexpected risks, with an equally unpredictable character. Just as it is impossible to fully understand the scale and effects of climate change. Back in the day, when I became Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, this is 1998, there was a pervasive milieu of doubt in the capacity of a humanities student to manipulate a computer. Where that came from, I don't know. Computers were seen at the time as a preserve of math and science students, a mistaken belief that was disproved when the faculty at one time had the best running computer lab at UB, and humanities students were learning how to manipulate a computer. Talking about eras as enshrined in today's theme, there is nothing more unsettling than the palliative, numbing, and soporific effect of trending dichotomies of revolution eras, such as the much talked about Fourth Industrial Revolution. I preach cautious optimism while I decry misplaced ersatz and autochthonous priorities. So much of Africa has been lost to Western ideals, models, and revolutions. We need to introspect on whether the concept Fourth Industrial Revolution is a bogeyman, an authentic narrative, or just some palliative hoax peddled from elsewhere. Is 4IR just some World Economic Forum hoax, hype, or real? In this much touted revolution, is it just a mere noose around our necks by which we are being dragged along for further subordination and exploitation? Inasmuch as the map of Africa is projected in miniature form, only to reinforce the perception of smallness in our minds. The moral of the story behind these questions and cautionary statements that I make is that a university, as a country, and indeed Africa, we should be in charge of our narratives and not be dictated to from elsewhere. Let us define our own goals and priorities. Right now, we are in an extremely interesting era, especially within the digital space. The technological warfare between the US and China offers us fertile ground for developing our own IT and artificial intelligence solutions. In the interim, let us switch from these expensive Western commercial IT solutions. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I see you're on 365 Windows. Why are you enriching that man? Let's, in the meantime, before we develop our own solutions, or while we are in the process, resort to free open shareware called Linux, which comes in different distros. Honorable Minister Maile, a logical step following the recent launch of public broadcasting for minority languages begs the question of why and when are we going to develop our own homegrown large language transformers, just like ChatGPT or DeepSeek. Actually, I'm on DeepSeek right now. It's Chinese. While with the rest of the languages, we develop orthographies for purposes of regaining and owning our destinies, as well as human dignity and integrity. Turning to you graduates, where are you? I was like you in 1979. I'm going back to the wheelchair story. Lo and behold, Botswana and the rest of Africa have long been in the digital space era. All words that refer to the concept digit are embedded in our languages and cultures. The iambic meter of Setswana language illustrates this in a very clear fashion. As in, when children learn language from Lo, they do so articulating a low syllable to a high-weighted syllable. Bana baring, mama, papa, kuku, nyanya, kaka, jaja, sisi, nana. Even though the people that are teaching them the language don't use these expressions. This is a binary heuristic that children resort to when they approach the language Setswana, and indeed other languages. Of course, English has a different meter stick. Instead of banana, an English child, or English-speaking child would say nana, from high to a low syllable. Even as the games we play as children, like koi, skipping rope, hotuha, pounding, sorghum, midi, whatever, hopota, those are well-timed, binary, at time, depending on the number of baba tuhang, could be ternary, even quaternary. Botswana and the rest of Africa have already been in the digital space. So let us not think that digital solutions are to come from outside. We can craft them and now there goes like I said, Africa has been in the digital space. And even as the rest of the globe transits to quaternary mathematics, let us remember one thing. Ditaola sa Setswana. When you interpret the lewa, la ditaola, did you know that dingaka bo matwetwe, I'm not talking about imposters here, did you know that they actually use mathematics to interpret what the divining bones mean? When his cow in Satau breaks a leg and I administer Tobecha, through this whole distance, what's that? Is that not the kind of particle transition that the likes of Albert Einstein talked about superpositioning, two particles being in the same time? What other expressions did he use? Something spooky at a distance where particles can interact from Gaborone to wherever his kettle post is. We have that science, we've had it for centuries. Let's just modernize it and market it, sell it to the rest of the world. Graduates, I'm still with you. I recently, actually as recent as yesterday, had a discussion with a senior friend of mine, property developer, Red David Mahang of Pakalani Estates, and a recipient of UB honorary doctorate. He said, Babulal Lahore, tell those graduating UB, he referred to you as podcasts. We're throwing you out into the real world. To go out into the real world, not to look for jobs, but to create jobs themselves. And I'm repeating that message to you. It sounds, Honorable Minister, almost tyrannical to say to people, go out there and when you and I are employed, when I'm self-employed and so on. But no, give you a few available opportunities, graduates. Excuse me. Have you ever wondered about the number of boreholes that are dotted along the railway line from Ramatlabama to Ramakweban? I tried to count them last time and I got to over 1,000 active boreholes that are currently not in use because we no longer use the steam engine, locomotive steam engine. And next to the railway line, by those boreholes, there's land. So don't go anywhere saying there's no land. There is land. You just simply apply to BR, Botswana Railways, for use of the nearest borehole. Where are you from, sir? Khabani, Muliti. During his time, Remahang drilled, during his time as minister, he drilled 10 boreholes along the Ngotwane River. It was in order to augment the then existing shortage of water. But because of pollution, those boreholes are lying fallow. But the water can be used for agricultural purposes. Another example to you, graduates, think of construction sand. We're no longer allowed to hew construction sand from rivers, aren't we? Hello? Am I talking to myself? The entire belt of sandstone that stretches from Matsieng Hills, you know where that is? just behind Mushudi, Gaufile Papani, and so on, all the way to Mushupa, before you get into Kanye, is mind-boggling. The quantity of potential construction sand there is mind-boggling. All you need is a mining license, a stone crusher, and you are good to go. I would urge you to visit the Geological Survey Library in Lobatse, or more conveniently, just Google the geological website of Botswana, get definitive information on hydrogeology, so you can inform yourselves about underground water resources for borehole drilling, soil types, so you plan what to grow, given information on the various maps. Another opportunity. Think of a project that empowers communities, supports youth, or promotes sustainability. I had asked one of the facilitators to share the URL for applying to get funding from DTC. And indeed, DTC is inviting proposals along those lines, communities, youth support, and sustainability. They're inviting proposals for projects up to 1.5 million each funded. Get your submissions ready before the 20th of this month. So no more about looking for jobs in Kireng, hey, applications flying all over the place. To the University of Botswana, fellow Chancellor, Sister Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, UB Council, staff, faculty, Senate management and departments, think of UB as an organic entity with engagement, internationalization, collaboration, and partnerships with other institutions, such as Baisakho, that's why I'm here, to better contain travel expenses, enhance comparative advantage, regional integration, financial boost, as well as cultural exchange and talent tapping. These are expressions I picked up 2 weeks ago at a convocation at Frenesis International College in Ramoso from an amazing fellow who has 3 master's degrees and 3 PhDs. What a crazy name, Professor Moses Chare. VC, I forwarded his recommendations along the lines of partnerships and how to engage with sister institutions in order to save funds but promote collaboration. Again, while I'm with staff, the mistaken claims of UB being a teaching university are hallowed and grossly wrong claims. How come master's degree holders in Finland produce secondary school students who then go on to manufacture Nokia phones? Because they carry out research. So let's stop that. Dave, Vice Chancellor, allow me to say that the rather discomforting transformation exercise is a necessary undertaking that institutions at the leading or cutting edge of advancement ought to undertake from time to time. It's a natural process of institutional growth and maturity. Let's all embrace these levels of discomfort in the best interest of our adage, "Motho le motho ke kgomo," as patriots of BW. Lastly, Honorable Minister and the government leadership here present, let us destigmatize TVET. Let's introduce, as we proposed with, I think it was before Sharon Silver's time, but I was definitely with Brian, Mukopa Khosi, and Mampuchani and others. We made a proposal to government for multiple articulated streams. First year at UB, second year at a TVET institution, third year at UB, back to TVET. The recent launch that I referred to earlier of public broadcasting in minority languages presents a challenge to your institution, sir, my institution, and you, graduates. There are about 28 or so different languages spoken in Botswana. There's an opportunity for you to go and develop not just orthographies, but large language models. Motsamaisi Tiro, with those few remarks, allow me to congratulate the graduating class of 2025 and say, this country is your oyster. Go out and harvest that oyster. I thank you.
Honorable Minister, I'm going to kindly ask you to come forward. We have a small gift for you. Thank you. I don't know whether we should.
Ke kopa gore le ntete gore ke leboge thata wa tšhie ka gore le lona la bona gore go gane go dirisiwa diata tsa TVET. So go raya gore ke tla nna ke e beile, I will always be on time ka gore yana ke tabo ke na le. Thank you so much. Ke a leboga bagaetsho.
This takes me back some 25 years ago, before I left UB. One of my assignments was as the then chairman of the UB Art Committee to commemorate Mutule Mutu Khomo in a very real sense. Hence, the statue that you find in front of the UB Library of a man driving an ox. that epitomizes the spirit through which this university was built. I thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor.
The Chancellor, I have the privilege to present to you the following candidates whom the Senate has found worthy of admission to the following: Doctor of Philosophy degrees, Master's degrees, postgraduate diplomas, bachelor's degrees, diplomas, and certificates.
The candidate. I shall confer the candidates present and absent whose names appear on the program: Doctor of Philosophy degrees, Master's degrees, postgraduate diplomas, bachelor's degrees, diplomas, and certificates.
I have the privilege to present to you the following candidates whom the Senate has found worthy of admission to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of the University of Botswana. Degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Business.
By virtue
Finally-
of the authority vested in me, I admit the candidates of the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy of the University of Botswana.
Degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Business. Kinale Kgosi Khunzi. Thesis title: Wildlife-Based Tourism, Rural Livelihoods, Biodiversity Conservation Nexus in Khanzi Wildlife Management Area, Botswana. Supervisor, Dr. M. Linao. Co-supervisor, Professor J. Pansiri and Professor J. Mbaiwa.
I have the privilege to present to you the following candidates whom the Senate has found worthy of admission to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of the University of Botswana. Degree of Doctor of Philosophy in English, Musekiwa Ivy. Thesis title: Hunhu stroke Ubuntu in Diaspora Discourses of Zimbabwean Migrants in Selected Literature published between 2005 and 2015. Supervisor, Dr. M. Dikobe. Co-supervisor, Professor R.O.B. Nhlekisana. Degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Library and Information Studies, Hamisi Sefu. Thesis title, Collective Information Seeking Behavior of Student Groups, a case study of rural vocational training institutions in Tanzania. Supervisor, Professor B. Jorosi. Co-supervisor, Dr. N. Moko. Degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Theology and Religious Studies, Nyamugama Stembinkosi. Thesis title, An Exploratory Theological Study of Women at the Apostolic Faith Mission, Sunnyside, Pretoria, South Africa. Possible Distortions of Christian Identity. Supervisor, Professor F. Nkomazana. Co-supervisors, Dr. M.D. Gebaneilwe and Dr. S.D. Situme.
I have the privilege to present to you the following candidates whom the Senate has found worthy of admission to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy of the University of Botswana. Degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Political Science, Kanyangwa Manyela McLean. Thesis title, Understanding the Use of Social Media for Aggressive Political Participation in Malawi. Supervisor, Dr. K. Lutswao. Co-supervisor, Dr. Z. Maundeni. Sanyumba Mushe, thesis title, Exploring the Challenges of Interagency Collaboration in Anti-Poaching in Botswana. Supervisor, Dr. Mandianike, co-supervisor, Dr. Z. Maundeni. Vekerwa Paul, thesis title, Failure to Consolidate Democracy, 2000 to 2017, Oligarchy and Continuity of Elite Preservation. Supervisor, Dr. Z. Maundeni, co-supervisor, Dr. D. Mandianike. Degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Social Work, Sinto Baraedi Winnie. Thesis title, Lived Experiences of Women Breast Cancer Survivors at Princess Marina Hospital, Implications for Social Work Practice. Supervisor, Dr. T. Malinga, co-supervisors, Dr. MJ Rankopo and Prof. Kane Tumang.
Master's degree graduates may now put on their hoods. Degree of Master of Business Administration. Abraham Khau Fengwe Basadi Bothi. Wawotana Ntezi. Chivovo Victor. Eletu Asina Sarahi. Havuntwi Pesi Kifilwe. Gomba Elton. Jacob Laone Poshia. Kaelo Susan Nameto. Kiwonyi Mudisa Pako Prim. Mahue Tamiso. Muahi Boyce Mweti. Mohapi Mahana Grace. Moketsani Keleto King. Nube Jewel. Ponchi Eva Didimalang. Pete Hagitsepi Sirat. Rasitura Tsepang. degree of Executive Master in Entrepreneurship. Wungile Kineile, Kupulang Tapelo, Jones Aubrey Fungai, Kaelo Uratile, Kachizo Anderson Vakasufa, Kibonang Zain, Kosi Budiba Kilebuhile, Kuswani David Igobe, Lekoni Ulautse Lukwalo, Mudisa Rapelang Kotso, Makosana John Po, Manla Zwelithini Godwill, Mawila Batsani, Mbaiwa Elizeri Joseph, Mhete Moliti, Mudise Mavis Federica, Mukwe Sibusa Mute Madilim, Munei Bangutumo, Obet Mabunte, Utile Buemo, Pale Mudieri, Ramutaka Udireleng Kelly, Rantsudu Sulufelan, Siane Oratile Huizione, Sikoro Rwane Topo Billy, Situalo Lami, Tabeng Lukwalo, Tebe Robinson Enke, Tuane Maipilo Unalinna, Tuku Virginia.
Master's degree graduates may now put on their hoods. Degree of Master of Archives and Records Management. Josego Amuchilani Prudence. Ki itshupang Maraya Nkagisang. Mothatego Refilwe. Palantwa Patrick. Ramutsietsane Gaone, Siutlwadi Lechabisa Gerard. Degree of Master of Arts in French Studies. King Lesego. Letsatsi Koketso Shiba Katlego. Degree of Master of Arts in Media and Communications. Chisano Ana, Dube Mkondisi, Malinga Tevin, Matame Khamawi, Shandaya Sitali, Lisiapeto Ureditse Bunke. Degree of Master of Library and Information Studies. Malungu Salome, Mudikwa Hae Refilwe Tandi.
Master's degree graduates may now put on their hoods. Degree of Master of Arts in Defense and Strategic Studies, Bonno Keletso, Bob Patrick, Chigama Marlon, Ibineng Lebokwe, Alibokwe, Habolwelwe uthusitse, Haboroni Iarabilwe udirile, Kibonyi Mudisa Tapelo, Himiwinga Hilary Apungi, Jim Ernest, Johnson Oratile Tebogo, Kanango Elizabeth Alango, de Kamulo Pumulo, Lobilo Haone, Luke Harold Kasper, Madumetsi Laki Donald, Majeka Siabe, Makosi Alex Bengashi Cecil, Manzi Jean Paul, Masole Charles, Michael Lopang, Muhutsiwa Offense Adolphus, Muisraele Tahiso, Mokatsi Time, Mokosi Precious, Monna Morwa Barumelwa Dineo, Musinya Chakalisa, Moses Babuluki, Nakedi Binang, Nalumango Mashekwa, Otla Disa Kerapetsi, Pirinyana Sekholami Emmanuel, Pondani Judith, Ramatatume Maikano Leonard, Ramataba Mulibeledi Shime, Sabone Kholila